There is a very specific time that shows up on the clocks of millions of seniors night after night, and that time is 3 o'clock in the morning, not 2 o'clock, not 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock. And if this keeps happening to you, chances are you have already tried to make sense of it. Maybe you mentioned it to someone and heard, that is just what happens as you get older. Maybe you searched online and found the same recycled advice over and over again. Drink less caffeine, go to bed earlier, try to relax. But what if waking up at 3 a.m. is not random at all? What if it is not just a harmless part of aging? What if it is your body trying to get your attention in a way most people completely miss? Because after years of speaking with older adults about sleep, I can tell you this with confidence. When a person over 60 wakes up at the same hour again and again, there is usually a reason. Sometimes it is a simple reason. Sometimes it is something surprisingly fixable. And sometimes it is a warning sign that should not be brushed aside. In fact, one of the 7 reasons I am going to share with you today, the one I saved for last, is something many seniors live with for years without realizing it is disrupting their sleep and putting stress on the body every single night. It is far more common than most people think, and ignoring it can come at a real cost. So stay with me through the full video, because if you leave early, you may miss the one reason that matters most for you. Before we begin, I want you to do something. Think about what it feels like when you wake up at that hour. Is it a sudden jolt? Is it your heart pounding? Is it a feeling of unease you cannot explain? Is it a need to use the bathroom? Or do your eyes simply open and you are instantly wide awake as if your body decided the night was over? Hold that feeling in your mind, because by the end of this video, you may understand what your body has been trying to tell you all along. My name is Dr. Marcus Vance, and this channel is built on one simple belief. Seniors deserve clear, honest, practical information about what is happening inside their bodies. Not vague answers, not confusing medical language, just the truth explained in a way that helps. Today we are going deep into one of the most common sleep complaints in adults over 60, waking up at 3 a.m. or sometime between 2 and 4 and struggling to get back to sleep. Here is what we are going to cover: 7 specific reasons this keeps happening, why it becomes more common with age, what it often feels like from the inside, and most importantly, what you can actually do about it. And before we get started, I would love to know where you are watching from today. Drop your city or country in the comments. I read them, and it means a lot to know who is here. Let's begin. Reason 7. Your blood sugar may be dipping while you sleep. This is one of the most overlooked reasons for waking in the middle of the night, especially around 3 a.m. While you sleep, your body is still working. Your brain still needs fuel. Your organs are still active, and that fuel comes from glucose circulating in your bloodstream. In younger adults, the body usually keeps that balance fairly steady overnight, but after 60, blood sugar regulation often becomes less efficient. Some seniors go to bed after a light dinner, others after a meal heavy in refined carbohydrates, and some take medications that affect glucose control. All of that can create a situation where blood sugar falls too low in the middle of the night. When that happens, your body does not quietly ignore it. It reacts. It releases stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol to raise blood sugar back up. And those hormones can wake you suddenly, sometimes with a pounding heart, sweating, shakiness, or a vague sense that something is wrong. For some people, it does not feel dramatic at all. It just feels like a strange internal alertness at 3 o'clock in the morning. Think of it this way. Imagine your body is running on backup power overnight. If the reserve starts running too low, the alarm system kicks in. That alarm is what wakes you. What can you do? Pay attention to what and when you eat in the evening. A dinner loaded with sugar or refined carbs can trigger a rise and then a drop later in the night. Skipping dinner entirely can create a different kind of instability. If you have diabetes, prediabetes, or take blood sugar medication, this is especially important to discuss with your doctor. Repeated 3 a.m. waking with sweating or a racing heart should not be ignored. Reason 6. The timing of your medications may be working against your sleep. This one is incredibly common, and yet many people never think to ask about it. A medication can be completely appropriate for you and still disturb your sleep simply because of when you take it. Seniors often take several medications a day, and timing matters far more than most people realize. For example, diuretics taken too late in the day can set you up to wake up to urinate during the night. Certain antidepressants can feel activating in some people. Some steroids, decongestants, and even medications used for breathing or pain can make the brain more alert during hours when it should be settling deeper into sleep. Some blood pressure medications can also shift your nighttime physiology in ways that leave you waking in the early morning. This is where people get frustrated because they assume the only question is whether the medicine is right or wrong, but often the better question is much simpler. Is the timing wrong? What I want you to do is make a full list of what you take and what time you take it. Then ask your doctor or pharmacist one very specific question. Could the timing of any of these be contributing to my early morning waking? Not whether you should stop them. Not whether they are bad for you, just whether the timing may need adjusting. Sometimes that one conversation changes everything. If this is already making you think differently about your sleep, stay with me, because the next reasons are even more common. Reason 5, your bladder may be waking you up more than you realize. Now, many seniors assume nighttime urination is simply normal aging. And yes, it does become more common with age, but common does not mean meaningless. As we get older, several things change. The bladder may hold less, the body may shift fluid differently during the night, men may deal with prostate enlargement, women may experience pelvic floor changes, certain medications increase urine production, and conditions like diabetes, swelling in the legs, or even heart issues can cause extra fluid to move back into circulation when you lie down, only to be filtered by the kidneys while you sleep. That means the problem is not always that your bladder suddenly misbehaves at 3 a.m. Sometimes the setup for that wake-up begins hours earlier. And here is what makes this even trickier. Sometimes the bladder is not the original cause. Sometimes you wake briefly for another reason, then notice you could use the bathroom, and now your brain fully wakes up. So the bathroom becomes the event you remember, even if it was not the real trigger. What can help? Limit large amounts of fluids close to bedtime, especially alcohol and caffeine. Elevating your legs in the evening if you have ankle swelling may help shift fluid earlier before sleep, and if you are waking multiple times a night to urinate, especially with urgency, weak stream, leakage, or swelling in the legs, that is worth discussing with your doctor. Do not assume it is something you just have to live with. Reason 4, your bedroom may be quietly pushing you out of sleep. This one surprises people because the bedroom often feels quiet enough, dark enough, comfortable enough, but when your sleep is at its lightest in the early morning hours, even subtle things can matter. A room that is too warm, a digital clock glowing across the room, a hallway light under the door, a television standby light, a phone screen, a pet moving, a heater turning on, a partner snoring more deeply around 3 a.m. These do not always wake you in the first half of the night, but later, when sleep naturally becomes lighter, they can be just enough to bring you fully awake. As we age, sleep tends to become more fragile. That means the environment matters more, not less. Think of your sleep like a thin layer of ice in the last few hours before morning. It does not take much pressure to crack it. Try this. Make the room darker than you think it needs to be, cooler than you might expect, quieter than is convenient. Cover tiny lights, move the phone farther away, reduce background electronics. If outside noise is a problem, consider a steady sound source that masks irregular noise. Sometimes the issue is not inside your body at all, sometimes it is the room itself. If you are still watching and this is helping, type the number 4 in the comments. I always like to know who is still with me. Reason 3, stress hormones may be rising at the wrong time. A lot of seniors tell me the same thing. Dr. Marcus Vance, I do not feel stressed when I go to bed, so why do I wake up anxious at 3 a.m.? That is an important question, because nighttime stress does not always look like daytime stress. Your body runs on hormonal rhythms. Cortisol, one of your main alertness hormones, is supposed to stay low through most of the night and then gradually rise toward morning to help you wake up. But in many older adults, that rhythm becomes less stable. Chronic stress, grief, loneliness, pain, illness, poor sleep habits, and even months or years of broken sleep can all make that system more reactive. The result is that your body may trigger an early morning stress response before you are ready to wake. And when cortisol rises too early, it can feel like a sudden wave of alertness, chest tightness, worry, restlessness, or that awful feeling that sleep is gone for the night. Even if there is no conscious thought causing it, the body can still act as if there is danger. What helps here is not just relaxing more, it is supporting a more stable rhythm, keeping a consistent sleep and wake time, getting morning daylight, limiting stimulating news or screen time late in the evening, managing pain, reducing alcohol. And if you are carrying worry to bed every night, even silently, that deserves attention too, because sometimes the body is not waking you due to noise or light. Sometimes it is sounding an internal alarm. Reason 2, pain, reflux, or breathing changes may be interrupting your sleep without fully announcing themselves. This one matters because many people assume they would know if something physical was waking them, but that is not always how it works. Arthritis pain, hip discomfort, shoulder pressure, nerve symptoms, acid reflux, sinus congestion, and shallow breathing can all disturb sleep in ways that do not feel dramatic enough to remember clearly. You may not wake thinking, "My reflux woke me." You may simply wake and feel unsettled, uncomfortable, or unable to settle back down. Acid reflux is especially sneaky at night. When you lie flat, stomach acid can move upward more easily, creating irritation that may not feel like classic heartburn. It can feel like throat clearing, coughing, chest discomfort, or just a strange wake-up. Breathing changes can be similar. Even mild congestion or reduced airflow can increase nighttime arousals. Here's the key point. Your body does not need a full emergency to wake you. It only needs enough discomfort to move you from deeper sleep into lighter sleep. And from there, it is much easier to wake fully. If your 3 a.m. waking comes with dry mouth, coughing, burning in the chest or throat, body aches, numbness, stiffness, or a sense that you cannot get comfortable, do not dismiss those clues. The pattern matters. And now we come to reason 1, the one seniors truly cannot afford to ignore. Reason 1, you may be dealing with sleep apnea and not know it. This is one of the biggest hidden causes of repeated nighttime waking in older adults, and it is far more common than many people realize. Sleep apnea happens when breathing repeatedly slows or stops during sleep. Sometimes it is obvious because of loud snoring or choking, but sometimes it is much quieter than people expect. A person may simply stop breathing for short periods, oxygen levels drop, the brain senses danger, and the body partially wakes up just enough to restart breathing. That process can happen again and again through the night. And very often, those awakenings cluster in the second half of the night when certain stages of sleep make the airway more vulnerable. Here is what makes this so important. Many people with sleep apnea do not know they have it. They do not remember gasping. They do not think of themselves as bad sleepers. They just know they keep waking up, often around the same time, and they feel tired, foggy, irritable, or headachy the next day. After 60, the risk goes up. Muscle tone changes, weight distribution changes, airway tissues change, and the consequences of untreated sleep apnea can be serious. It has been linked with high blood pressure, memory problems, heart strain, stroke risk, poor energy, and a lower quality of life. So if you wake at 3 a.m. often, especially if you snore, feel sleepy during the day, wake with a dry mouth or headache, or have been told you stop breathing in your sleep, please do not brush that aside. That is something to bring up with your doctor directly. A sleep evaluation can reveal what years of guessing never will. Let me pull all of this together. If you keep waking up at 3 a.m., your body may be responding to one of several things: blood sugar swings, medication timing, nighttime urination and fluid shifts, a bedroom environment that becomes too stimulating in the early morning hours, stress hormones rising too early, pain, reflux, or breathing changes, and at the top of the list, something seniors should never ignore: sleep apnea hiding in plain sight. And in many cases, it is not just one cause, it is 2 or 3 of them layered together. That is why this issue can feel so confusing, but it is also why improvement is possible. You do not have to solve everything overnight. Sometimes one change makes a bigger difference than you expected. I want to say something personal before we close. When people finally start sleeping through the night again, They rarely say only, I am less tired. What they usually say is something deeper. They say, I feel like myself again. Because sleep affects everything: your memory, your mood, your balance, your blood pressure, your patience, your energy, your ability to enjoy the people around you. When sleep breaks down, life gets smaller. And when sleep improves, life often opens back up. You are not imagining this problem. You are not weak for struggling with it, and you are not too old to improve it. Tonight, choose one thing, just one. Darken the room, review your medication timing, pay attention to late fluids, talk to your doctor about blood sugar swings, ask whether reflux, pain, or sleep apnea could be part of the picture. Start somewhere. The information in this video is for educational purposes only and is not intended as medical advice. Always speak with your physician or qualified healthcare provider before making changes to medications, supplements, or treatment. If this helped you understand your body a little better, share it with one person who also keeps waking up in the middle of the night and does not know why. Sometimes the right information at the right time changes more than people expect, and if you want more clear, honest, practical health guidance for living well after 60, subscribe to Dr. Marcus Vance. I am glad you are here, and I will see you in the next one.